Tippy time my dammies, Topgate here and welcome back to the channel. With Arc being the big old rager that it is inside Season 21, I wanted to take a look at our Arc Warlock. It's crazy to me that this subclass isn't picked up much, as with the buff to Arc Souls over recent seasons, it's had some of the most dominant ad control ever in the game. But now with a massive melee buff and a massive buff to supers, it truly feels like the dominant force in whatever situation we dive into. I'll break down the super damage in the second segment and the build in the following segments. If you found it helpful, smash that thumbs. With that said, we turn our attention to the Chaos Reach. This mighty Kamehameha beam has received several mega buffs to make this super as strong as it looks. It's got a change to its camera angle and its strafe speed whilst in our super. But it's all about the power and we got 25% more of it. And a most welcomed addition of Jolt if you apply sustained damage to a single target. Great for both boss bakes and waves of ads, the power bonus and the Jolt now make light work of our Overload champs too. Now we're of course using the Geomags as our exotic, these utilize the perk called Close Enough. Whilst damaging targets with our Chaos Reach, it extends its duration. Essentially double the uptime means double the damage. But going from a 4-second super to a 8-second super has its positives and its negatives. In the past it's been the opinion of some that the damage over time wasn't enough to justify using it. However, the addition of Jolt and an outright DPS buff changes that argument. During our pre-season testing here, we show that it done 487,000. Even though this was the highest Warlock DPS, our Strand super done 450k in half the uptime. But now with a 25% super buff and Jolt, it's dealing 702,000. And when it comes to damage, what's easy is meta. But inside our seasonal artifact, we equip electric armor to extend our amplified timer to 20 seconds. This will make using our perk Thunderous Retort easier. This will grant us 12.5 bonus super damage whilst we are at red bar or amplified. So leave an ad alive just before a damage base and this will reward you with 796,000 damage. That's roughly 100k a second. By golly, Miss Molly. Amped up is recommended. This gives us a gain to damage resistance whilst we are amplified, which is helpful whilst we are skybound, laying waste to those below. Shock and Awe, I've just unlocked this and goddamn it is fun. Arc Final Blows, whilst you are amplified, summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. Lightning Strikes Twice is so damn good. I'm running only 30 discipline on this build as I've really pushed my stats towards recovery and intellect. But with this perk combined with our build, we got our grenade back in just 10 seconds. For our build, we are of course going to be using the Arc Soul aspect. This is the heart and soul of our Destiny 2 Arc Warlocks. It's not to be underestimated. It's seen several buffs in previous seasons to increase its fire rate, targeting and damage output. It offers excellent support and allows you to easily control an anchor point. And with 100 recovery, we can have our rift back before our last one is gone to give us an easy and infinite loop of these terrifying turrets. And they're not just for you, give them to your fire team and all will fall. I ran a salvage earlier with this build and nearly got more kills than the entire fire team combined. We're of course going to be using the pulse grenade, it's easily the best for damage and jolt. Spark of Magnitude to extend its timer, and Spark of Shock gives our grenades Jolt. This offers us more damage, can stun those pesky overloads, and because it pulses every second, it triggers Jolt every second, for fat deeps and AoE damage. Spark of Recharge goes a long way. Whilst we are critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerates more quickly. This combined with our Lightning Strikes Twice perk in the artifact gives us a steady stream of grenade dominance, but will also offer us tons of that melee juice for the revitalized Ball Lightning melee. This had a coding error in the past as when you are amplified you release additional lightning strikes before detonation. These detonations would be knocked around by the target so the following shots wouldn't detonate. This has been fixed so it now hits more effectively and also got a 30% damage buff for its troubles. Electrostatic Mind is the tits. By defeating targets with our abilities or jolted targets, we are granted ionic traces. These collect themselves, offer us ability energy, and make us amplified. And lastly, Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. This works excellently if running with one of our many weapons that afford us Volt Shot. Wither Horde pairs really well with this build, as one of the easiest ways to generate high amounts of super energy is just to pump out mega damage. And being that this build is Chaos Reach focused, that's a good way to go. But it's not to forget that this build isn't just about that Chaos Reach, and that it also has mad ability spam. I'll make sure to leave a dim in the description for those who use it. So if you're off to dim now, don't forget to hit that like button. For those who don't, the mods now follow. I'm running one Siphon mod based on our primary weapon of use. Ashes to Assets for bonus super energy on our grenade kills. Heavy Handed affords us orbs on melee kills. Firepower affords us orbs on grenade kills. Impact Induction gives us grenade cooldown when inflicting melee damage. Concussive Dampness, I swap around my dampness depending on what activity we're in. Charged Up, this is used predominantly to make our DPS easier, as we're triple stacking for Arc Surge on our legs for a 22% bonus to all arc weapons. Time Dilation, so we can max out for a full 1 minute surge bonus. And double stacking our Bomber mod for reduced grenade cooldown on our rift placements. You gotta try this, guys. I'm so glad that our super is now superior, and that we have a build that is so dominant in all forms of activities. If you liked it, smash that thumbs, sub if you're new. I have vids dropping on weekly resets and weekend resets. There'll be a dim in the description, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.
Bottom of everything, he's the most tip top.